Hello and welcome to the Faith Building Podcast, episode 53 already, with your lovely and amazing hosts, Vladi Kuna
and Norman Gräter. Hi, guys.
Hello. Today we want to speak about health. Just a tiny little bit about health, because we are all sometimes healthy, sometimes not so healthy, and sometimes anywhere in between. And the thing that I learned, and I actually wonder why this is not taught in kindergarten, or when you are born, or whenever in an early age, because it's so simple. You have two functions in your body that kind of protect you. One is for the inside, the other one is for the outside. The inside is called the immune system. If you have some bacteria within your body, your immune system goes out, fights the bacteria, and you're healthy again. It's not a medicine you take. The medicine just takes away the pain you have, that the immune system can work, that you can sleep or whatever. That medicine usually does not do anything in your body and heals it. It's the body itself. And you have the adrenaline. The adrenaline is there to fight the outside. Now, if you imagine you have two police forces, one is for the inside, it could be called police, and the military is for the outside, the adrenaline. And they have the same resources, they have the same cars, they have the same weapons, they have the same food, they have the same clothes, and they have to share that. Now, if you have diarrhea, something on the inside, bacteria on the inside, and you're being chased by a lion at the same time, how do you think the relation of the energy split would be? I mean, it's obvious. 99.9% would be on the outside attack, because you say, I don't have to care about diarrhea, because if the lion eats me, there's no sense to be cured of diarrhea but being eaten. So it's very obvious that you say, I do more to get rid of the outside attack. And this is actually the reason why people get sick and stay sick, because there's so much energy going into the outside military to protect your outside borders that you don't have enough cars and material and resources and energy to give to your inside police to heal your body. And that's why usually the doctor tells you when you're sick, go to bed and stay there. And you think, oh, it's so boring, I can do home office, I can do emails. Yeah, but you continue with this outside attacks, because every third email is an outside attack. Every talk, every drive, everything you do on the outside feels sometimes like an outside attack. It's the same if you're in a company. If you don't have trust within a team, and you constantly have to check your back and that you're turned against the wall, you have to put up so much energy to protect the inside that you don't have energy to actually fight the wars that are coming towards you from the outside, from clients, from competitors, from economy, from everything. Can you make sure that you give your immune system, your inside police, as much material as possible? And that's why we almost beg you to stop listening and watching the news, because they are forcing the adrenaline to be up. I talked to my friend Marco this morning. We went for a walk because he got his wisdom tooth pulled, and therefore we cannot go jog, but we do a walk, which is good. And he still watches the news, and I told him the same thing what we just shared, and he said, oh, I think I have to stop looking at those news tickers every morning. And I said, yes, because the outside attacks that have nothing to do with your life. I said, how many of those news that you read every morning have something to do with your life in the little town where we are right now? And he said, nothing at all. And I said, so why do you do it? You're protecting your outside. You're getting fearful, frightened, furious about stuff on the outside that has nothing to do about your life. Nothing at all. Yeah, but if some president presses the red button and there comes the atomic bomb, how about you live the next couple of years until some stupid one presses on that red button and you have lived a great life, and then the last thing you see is the explosion, rather than to ruin your now and your now and your now by being full of fear and building a bunker and buying water just because you're so full of fear. And then you want to live 20 years in a bunker, but you have water for 2 years. The whole thing makes no sense. Just start living and stop worrying, stop being fearful, what we spoke in the last episode about, and give your inside force, the immune system, so much resources that they can be healed of everything. And therefore, whenever you have something inside of your body, it's always a sign that there's something on the outside, that there's something totally off. And usually you can relate it quite good. If you have something with your hands, what don't you want to grab? If you have something in your throat, what's very hard to speak about. If you have something in your bag, you're not stable anymore. Where is your opinion frightened? If you have something in your neck, stiff neck, oh, you're totally unflexible because you're like bitty, 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 bitty. Like a robot, you cannot turn and twist your head in every direction. You're not flexible. The translation of those sicknesses is very obvious. So just have a look, whatever issues you might have frequently compared to your outside life, and say, what is the reflection, the movie screen showing me? Because, as you know from episode 51 and 52, as within, so without. What do you think, Vladi?
I love it. What came to me was like, I'm such a huge advocate for don't just climb mental mountains, but climb physical mountains. In fact, you have to do them both simultaneously almost to actually experience a fulfilled life, because health is one of the most important things you have. It truly is. Like, if you're not healthy, you're not going to succeed. It doesn't matter what amount of money you have. It doesn't matter about amazing loving a relationship. If you're sick and ill and it just, whatever kind of disease and everything is it's no fun, because you can't experience life through the fullest self. So having a physical health is so important. It is crucial. However, I love what Norman's talking about, because it really is a reflection of the mental health. I consider myself one of the healthiest people I know. I'm not going to say in the world, but I'm going to say the one of them I know. I have the strongest health paradigms I've ever had. I won't go to the couple of stories which like where I actually awakened and came to where I am. But I want to point this out. I've always been very natural. I'm not really a huge pharmaceutical, this is no judgment. It's amazing. And I want to praise and appreciate the medical system, because what they develop these days, we would be dying 200 years ago, like infections and stuff. However, we're taking it a little bit too much, like there are so much we can do with a really healthy natural habits, instead of being thrown to the pharmaceutical products, which actually makes us in the longer term sicker than we should be. But I want to talk about health and mental. It's like, what are those tiny little daily habits you do? Because when I was a teenager, I've made a decision I'm only natural, doing natural stuff. And actually, it's not like you wait for the day until something happens and now all of a sudden you say, okay, now I'm going to do that. That doesn't quite work within 5 days. It's your lifestyle. Your health is your lifestyle. What is the amount of stress you're putting into your body? And that everything Norman was mentioning, it's a huge impact on how we feel. And it's funny, because we were just laughing at that, but my throat is like funny this month. And I have a guru spiritual lady who always just tweaks a little thing. So I always work on myself from within. And she said it's because I set a huge goals in my life, which I'm not going to talk about. But as we all know, when you're going for something big, you go through a big challenges too. And as I'm going through all these challenges, on many challenges actually, I'm finding I can't express myself, and that's why my throat hit. So it's not actually, yes, and people genuinely, and we go back to judgment, people are, oh, it's autumn. People always get sick in autumn. I mean, is that what we all believe? Is this what we state as a cultures and a globe? Because that's what's going to happen to us. If we already make a collective decision, oh yes, it's the winter season, that's where we all get sick. Says who? We're already dictating a direction for ourselves by making these statements, and not just making them, believing them. Why don't we reflect what's going on in my life now? Because it doesn't really matter whether it's hot or cold or what kind of season. Yes, I know there are viruses who are spreading more in the autumn. It's because of the changes of the weather, but pay attention to this. It's because of changes of our mind. Because we love summer. So cool, it's sunshine and we have vitamin D and we feel amazing. And then the darkness and rain comes. It's our mood that influences the whole thing more than anything else. It's so cold and miserable. I don't feel like exercising. Like it's us who actually stop doing things that gives us joy, blaming the outside circumstance. And yes, it's true. It's not that you're making up the cold and the rain, but you can still go swimming. in a closed swimming pool and just have the swim. You can still go out and run. Yeah, there's no, my grandmother used to say, because as you know, I'm a climber and hiker. For us in our world, there's no such a thing as a bad weather. There is a worse clothes. So it's what you're wearing. Be prepared. How prepared are you when something happens? Yes, you might have to take a little extra precautions and stuff. I'll give you a secret I do. Every single morning, your brain consists of more than 60% of your of water. Do you have by your wherever, whether you have a bed stand or a shelf or anything, when you wake up, if you want immediate activation of your entire system, you need to have a glass of water. Not an hour later when you go and brush your teeth and do all the stuff. Immediately to activate this amazing energy flow. My secret is, because of the toxins we experience through everything, through our shampoos, clothes, food, there's lots of toxic stuff in the world. Our liver has to work really hard. So pay attention to things like this. So what you can do, and this has been my lifesaver, is I would have a spoon of olive oil, a virgin, like really high quality olive oil with a squeeze of lime. Because that fuels your liver so much that all the toxins that are held in there can dissolve from your body faster. If you want to do this twice a day, like before your bedtime and in the morning, it's a life changer to your digestive system as well. You will feel amazing and no sort of flow, like sometimes we're bloated and all this stuff. All these problems will disappear. Simple things, because if we go back to universe, God, call it whatever you like, gave us everything we need. When I used to study and I was a teenager, my guru said to me, think about it. Think of a shape of a walnut. So if you look at the walnut, half of the walnut, it's shaped as your brain. And there's no secret that all you need to do when I wake up at 5 a.m. and do my studying and meditations and stuff, and I want a fast activation of my brain, do you know what I take? Dark chocolate and walnuts. Like a handful. 4 walnuts and that. It activates your brain. You don't need pills. Now, what people do these days, they run to the pharmacy and they want vitamins for everything. Did you know that actually a majority of these vitamins are toxic as well? Because they're not really fueling you with what we're buying it for. And I'm one of them. I used to buy them, and I had years ago a little issue with iron, and then I just realized that it doesn't matter what I do, I take them all the time and nothing changes. So pay attention to what you're doing every day, and it's a change of lifestyle. Norman, I'll hand it back to you. This is my passionate subject, so I'm like literally stealing your mind.
I can tell. Like you said, it's all about preparation. It's all about, am I prepared to have so much energy for my immune system? Because when the bacteria hits, usually even the pest and other stuff in the past, it did not kill all the people. And the question is, and I'm not a doctor, why is it not hitting everyone? If you're on a cruise ship and something breaks out, not everybody gets sick. Many people might get sick, but not everyone. And where's the difference? I think the ones with the stable immune system might get hit, but not as bad. The body can handle it. But the more outside stress we have and the more energy goes to the outside, the worse it is. So be prepared. And I was reminded by a quote by Whitney Young. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity that never comes than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And if you relate that to our health, it's better to be prepared if some viruses and bacteria and stuff might come and not need it, rather than when the stuff comes, then to start preparing, because then it's too late. So always be prepared. Look, Vladi shared so many details. If it's the olive oil, if it's about what you eat and how much you eat and how much sugar and all those things and corn syrup and all this toxic stuff that kind of kills so many inside of you things and your connection to higher source, but that's a totally different topic. I found this beautiful book while I was in my office, and it's called I Am Potential. And that's a beautiful quote we want to gift you. If you tell yourself, I am potential, which means not that you are healthy, because if you're not healthy, you can say, I'm healthy as long as you want. Your subconscious mind, your autopilots, your self-image says, no, you're not, because you have not been for 5 years. But how about you would say, I'm potential? And you might say, well, what do you mean with potential? I'm not feeling good. I have no money. I have issues. I have this. I have that. Let me read something what's written on the book by the author Patrick Henry Hughes. It says 8 lessons on living, loving, and reaching your dreams. And on the back it says, I can't see, I can't walk, and I can't do a lot of things. And if you watch YouTube, there's a young gentleman in the wheelchair. With all this, people might think, gee, what a terrible thing. How could I bear to live like that? But I don't view it that way. Through my trials, God has given me the experiences that taught me important lessons about life, which helped me get through each and every day. I've never felt any pressure to do more than I can, but I'm always expected to do all that I can. The greatest gift I can give back to others is to share those experiences and lessons. Patrick Henry, and I really love that. He realizes he is potential, and his potential is different if he cannot walk, and he cannot talk, and he cannot see. His potential is totally different than probably your potential or Vladi's or mine. Still, it's needed, because in his potential, the steps he reaches are called a miracle for some people. But why don't you see that for yourself? Just because you're not burdened by life or by the mission you went on, to say, this lifetime I just don't put myself together in a full version. I come only with smell and with taste, but not with eyesight and not with touch and not with being able to walk or whatever it might be. It's a tougher mission you went on. And usually we look at those people, and if they overcome their challenges, we praise them. But when do we start praising ourselves, like Vladi said earlier? When do you start being happy and joyful and grateful for the person you are, for the steps you mastered? Yes, you might still have the sore throat, the back pain, the issues on the outside. But I promise you, if you continue working on your movie inside the projector room, which means your self-image, how you think about the world, don't go with, oh, it's flu time, oh, it's season for allergic stuff, it's this, it's that. If you buy into that, if your self-image believes that, because the press says it, and when the press says it, it must be true. And if everybody talks about it, it must be true. It's an opinion, it's not the fact. If you buy into the opinion, you will go with the flow of the opinion. And if they all get sick, you will get sick as well. It's in our community call every Monday evening. Sasha yesterday said, I told myself, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. I was so furious. I had so many meetings. I said, I don't want to get sick. And he said, I forgot in these moments when I did that the word not is not accepted by the universe or my mind, because it does not exist. In my mind, there's no picture for not sick, because how would a picture with not sick, not rich look like? It would be an empty picture, basically. You only have a picture for poor, for sick, for joy. So if you put the word not in front of it, you automatically still get the picture of the main word. And the main word is connected to an emotion, what this word means to you, and the emotion triggers an action. And therefore, if you tell yourself all the time, I don't want to get sick, there's no picture for not sick, but a picture for sick, and an emotion for sick, and an action for sick. And of course, he became sick. He asked for it all the time. And he had so much energy he had to give to the outside that his immune system was totally down, and the body was open for any virus, bacteria that was flying around. And that's the real issue. So just tell yourself, I am potential. I have the potential to change, and I'm changing constantly every day in little tiny steps. And it might not be that obvious like with other people or people that write a book where you say, wow, great, done. You're doing great as well. And that's what the Faith Building Podcast is all about. We want to give you faith and courage and hope that you are a great person and that you can be so much better if you want to and if you choose to, in your own speed, on your own way, that this is all that counts. Stop comparing yourself and just being more of yourself.
I'm going to go back to sentence. If you find yourself with the disease, it means your mind is not at ease. And that's how it all starts. Because I'm going to tie into what Norman's talking about. And it's the time of the year where people in 1 month will majority of the globe will make a decision to lose a weight, to have a dry January, and all these resolutions. New Year's resolutions do not work. We talked about it because it's not a decision you make from within. And also, you haven't changed your self-image inside you. People going on diet does not necessarily mean that you're actually healthy. Healthy lifestyle is a happy body and happy mind and happy spirit, really. So when you think about that, it's like you make this decision, you start exercising, you go there every day, but you forcing through it. You're not allowing yourself to actually create a habit by doing it gently. It's okay to do 10 minutes a day. But what we usually say to ourselves is, oh, 10 minutes a day exercise is not enough. Really? Because we just spent a month of not doing it. And then would that 10 minutes not be better than nothing? It's about creating a habit and then attaching another habit to that existing habit that makes it so much easier. So going back to health, people go on diets. Did you ever wonder, like, we're actually talking about, like, look at the marketing and stuff. People come up with these new ideas, like, you take these pills and in 30 days, and then they shrunk your waist and they slim your face and a body, and we all, especially females, it's like, oh my God, like this will. We know somewhere deep down there that there's been thousands and thousands and 10,000s of advertisements where you only take a pill, will solve your problems for, and now, even the better, permanently, they say. That's not because you're not changing yourself, you're not changing your lifestyle, you're not changing your habits. That temporary change will not create permanent results, regardless of whether you're in a health or doing something for your body, like externally. What are the things are usually the simplest thing? I was talking to my friend this morning and she said to me, isn't it funny, like the cooking? Oh yeah, that's why I said that. I said, I'm going back home. She said, well, what's the best present? I said, my best present already came because I'm going to spend the time with the family and don't have to be in the kitchen. Just appear when the food's ready and eat. Like for me, because, when you're a mom and cooking for a family, I was like, that is the best gift I can get. But what was funny? We then started talking about how I grew up. My mom, they would grow their food, they would make their food, everything was from scratch. So this is a huge where I will bring perception in again, because when she comes over here and sees me, and I consider myself like really making healthy food, and when she sees us, she's like, oh my God, you're feeding this to kids? I was like, you don't see, actually, my friends, and this is how we compare ourselves, right? Because I am inside of an environment where I'm actually considered one of the moms who really looks into the healthy food and stuff. Judgment again. Because really, we compare ourselves to whom? I do the best I can, and I don't find so much joy in it as my mom always did. For her, the mission of life was to make sure that the food is the healthiest, organic growth, like she would spend so much time. But is that perhaps why actually my strongest health is good paradigm? Because she created such a great base throughout my early years of actually living. I never developed any kind of like weirdness and stuff because of the food I was eating. We were never given vitamins, like chemicals and stuff. So is that maybe that we could get better, not just for ourselves, but for the next generations, and teaching them how to look after their body? I go out and I see teenagers in our town and everybody's with these smoothies and bubble teas and it's full of sugar and crap. And now, this would be a whole 10 episodes on the sugar. But I want to say something to you guys. Food is addiction. And that addicts you, like that's the first addiction we take. And then another addiction is the lifestyle. Because then we get addicted to laziness. And I know that this might sound hard, but the hardest thing I have done, and I was trying, when Norman was talking, I was trying to scan with all my books here. There is a book which I will find and tell you. But really, it was a coach of, I think, Michael Jordan, and it was, he wrote the book Relentless. His name just slipped me. I love this guy because he's given us a challenge. And he said, everyone who wants to work with me or who I work with have to come off sugar for 10 days. And I was thinking, 10 days easy, it's doable. 10 days, I can do 10 days. I love challenges. So I was like, yes, okay, I'm doing 10 days no sugar. It's like no sugar, like no even fruit sugar, non-sugar. I was driving. I was literally climbing walls. I realized that I could hardly buy anything because there is not even a food in the shelves or anywhere, because you think that you don't eat sugar, but because we don't have a chocolate bar. But there's so much sugar in everything else, even a bolognese or cooking inside of the tomatoes. It's like, it is ridiculous how sugar is put into everything, creating a slow releasing addiction where we then become addicted to our emotions and negative emotions as well. And it's so tied to actually your mental growth as well. And this is why we were talking about health. It's not just make yourself, grow yourself vegetables. I can't grow vegetables. Well, I could. We had allotment, but like the time and stuff, it's our choice though. We complain, but it's what we choose. What's more important? What was more important for my mom? And I did the 10 days no sugar. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. I cannot tell you, I do wear contact lenses. I cannot tell you the first sign and just 10 days. This is how crazy this is. I could see so much clearer, even without my contact lenses. My eyesight went like this straight up. Just reduction of sugar. And just the impact of what we're doing as a society and this marketing and these companies who are not using the private good laws. Is this good for me? Yeah, for their income it is, but for people's health it isn't. So people are breaking these no private good laws. I know they're universal God's laws, but they really work well. So pay attention, not just to what, but my friend said to me, why don't you become your own researcher and your own tester? Because we all different, we all unique, and some of us can take more of something, but less of something else. What is it that you need? What is it that makes you feel happier? What fuels your soul and what? But sometimes we have to push ourselves, because like waking up 6 a.m. to swim, or not even waking up 5 a.m. to swim at 6 a.m. in a cold pool in the winter is much harder than in the summer. Yes, I will say that. But it's so much more fulfilling because you see the end, see yourself as healthy. And as Norman said, that feeling has to come from, it's the projection you projected outside. Make a decision, look around yourself and say, am I really healthy in any way, mentally, physically and spiritually healthy? Or am I so driven into the world and jobs and we make excuses. I'm so busy, I don't have time to go. Well, really? So you're actually completely fueling your body with something that can cause you damage in a long-term and unhappy relationship, and you think the corporation you work for really cares when it comes to it? Because at the end of the day, this is your life. Your life. Don't give away your life for anyone, because everybody needs to really look after themselves in a sense, especially in the sense of health. It's your responsibility to be happy and healthy, because then you reflect this on everyone around you. Like really do the stuff that helps you and fuels your body and mind simultaneously, because that works hand in hand. Norman, close it.
I agree. Was it Pat Riley, the trainer? I just have
No,
Pat Riley now.
it was someone else.
Someone else. We'll find it out.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan trainer. I just want to close it with, you always have the choice. If you listen to what Vladi just shared, you always have the choice. If you realize that everything you do comes with a price, and the price is, first of all, your time. You invest your time into whatever, and it has a price that you have to pay. Yes, you might feel good at a moment drinking 5 liters of wine or beer during a party, but it will come with a price. You have to pee more often, you probably have a hangover. It was fun for the moment, but it comes with a price. And the only question you need to answer is, am I valuing the way more, drinking of the wine, or suffering through the next full day because you're totally down and out? The same with sugar, the same with fat, the same with fast food, stuff like that. it might feel quite good for a couple minutes. It's not even that it holds for a week, the joy. You go to the fast food restaurant and yeah, it helps for a while and you're stuffed for 2 hours, but then that's it. And then it's totally emptiness. But you burn through, I don't know, 3,000 calories. It always comes with a price. And are you willing to pay the price? Is the price worth the effort doing it or not? And there we cannot give you a do this or do that. Just have a couple thoughts about it and choose wisely because your life will depend on it.
I found the book, guys. So I'm just gonna say it's Tim Grover. I love the book. It's Tim Grover and it's called The Relentless. It's from good to great to unstoppable. I love that book. I'm a very no-nonsense, so it is a very no-nonsense book. It's like go, 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 but it has such a golden nuggets, and this guy is genius. And it's proven. Like, he's been training sports people, and it really shows how well he's working with them physically and mentally. So we have Tim Grover. Relentless.
Perfect. Then check it out if you're interested in that. And we see and hear you again next week for the next episode. And we wish you a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay calm, stay healthy, and we believe in you. As always, all the best from Vladi and Norman. We say bye-bye for now.
Bye and thank you.